because you're actually over here. It's just the chat. Hey guys, Dennis here.
Chrissy, Megan.
Muddy Water Search and Recovery, and we're going to do the Summer Wells open discussion feed tonight. And again, I do want to caution if names are mentioned, and we may even mention a few.
Yes.
Please keep those as a theory unless you do have evidence to go with that, at which point that needs to go straight to law enforcement. But we're going to jump in with information that we have, and then we will jump right into the open discussion with this. So Megan, you want to go ahead with that?
Okay. You guys already know this, but we're going to be talking about Summer Wells.
Hey, Bobby.
She was 5 years old when she went missing. She's been missing since 6/15 of 21, around 6:30 p.m. from the vicinity of Ben Hill Road and Beach Creek Road in Rogersville, Tennessee. She had blonde hair, blue eyes. She's 3 feet tall, 40 pounds. She had her pink shirt, gray pants, and she was probably barefoot.
She's a good old country. She's just a little country girl. Just, yeah.
And the investigators are still actively working on the case, and they have mentioned several times now that they do have to protect the integrity of their case, so they can't share everything they know, but they are still working on it. They also are still mentioning how following up on leads, social media disinformation is hindering their investigation still. A lot of rumors and stuff going around with no evidence. And I'm still torn on that. I believe if you've got anything that may help, it should go to law enforcement.
Please.
But at the same time, they're getting the same stuff over and over, and it's stuff that they're getting off of social media and YouTube. But don't hesitate if you feel they need to know. Absolutely get that to them. Any little thing may help solve this.
I mean, she's just that poor little baby. I mean, it's been almost a year now, and they still really don't have much. And what they do have, it's repeat or just trash is what they're getting, and it's just, yeah.
And Sheriff Lawson, he has said since early on the family has been very cooperative from the beginning with law enforcement. Obviously, Candace has had a rough go at it, being whatever the reasons may be, but they have cooperated. According to Don, him and Candace both passed polygraphs. Polygraphs were done days after Summer went missing. I seen a report where they were asked to come in quicker to do the polygraphs, but they mentally just couldn't do it. Don took his, and then Candace did days following later. They've had hundreds and hundreds of tips come in that they are following up on and have followed up on. Over 100 agencies from several different states have participated in searches. Over 4.6 miles very early on was searched. Many of the areas multiple times.
Patriot wife, absolutely. That's what we're doing exactly.
And Don was reportedly at work in Jonesboro, Tennessee, at the time Summer went missing. The family believes she would not leave the property on her own and believes she was abducted. Summer's aunt, Rose Marie Bly, has also been missing since 2009, but they don't believe the two cases are connected. Don has set up a YouTube channel where he wants to use to provide updates with the case and to help in the search for finding Summer, as well as a website that the family has approved, findsummerwells.com. The link to that website is in the video descriptions. Law enforcement announced the Amber Alert is still active and will be until summer is found.
Oh, I thought those expired after so long. They don't?
The sheriff said it's going to stay active until she's
I
found.
didn't know that.
Whether that changes,
Right.
that's in the air, but both ground and aerial searches have been done. Waterways have been searched. Several interviews taken place. Dogs have been used in the searches. Summer reportedly loves to be outside, so it's not unusual for her to play and be at the back of the property.
Right.
And granted, it's been reported that she was actually in the house and wasn't. Amber Alert stays active. They don't just send to phones.
Oh, okay.
And we saw, especially on the Dr. Phil episode, that she had taken Summer into the house and then Candace went back out. So, Chrissy, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Dr. Phil episode?
If you're not familiar with it, please look it up on YouTube. It's I believe me, it was a show. They had two experts come in. Dr. Phil did. They both do. They're body language experts, and they both believe that Dawn and Candace had nothing to do with with Summer's disappearance. Let's see.
Well, they come out later and said that.
Came out later and said that? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it says their focus came down to Candace as her body language indicated she was holding something back. And I was telling Denny earlier that when you get under the microscope like that with certain people, with everything that's going on, of course your body language is going to be different. You're kind of nervous. You want to make sure you don't mess up anything, and you want to make sure you can answer questions right. And sometimes it's just not going to turn out the way you want it to. They're saying that she obviously knows more than she does. And when I watched it, a part of me thought that too, the way things were going, but more you learn about the whole situation now, I don't know. Some could be the theory she's not saying much because of fear. She's hiding something. Let's see.
See, Dr. Phil even made the comment on there. And I'm not a big Dr. Phil fan, but there were parts of this I thought he'd done very good on.
Right.
And he made the comment that she may actually know something, but doesn't actually know that she knows something.
Now, see, it says right here, one of the things that the experts had said was the only trigger for Candace are brought out emotion was when they mentioned the cornbread mafia. And if you've watched our shows, we've told you about them. Let's see. Yeah. But no, I thought they did a good job, but yeah, the Dr. Phil episode, I mean, they put both Candace and Dawn under the spotlight. Dawn played it cool. He kept his cool, but poor Candace, you're her, your mother, she's the mom. You're going to be overdoing it a bit, but she just gave too much away to me, like she was hiding something. But now I don't know. I don't know. What do you? Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie though. When I finished watching that Dr. Phil episode, I was furious. I was furious with Candace because I thought, how is it that you may know something and you're not saying something? But at the same time, if she does know something, maybe she can't out of fear that maybe they might hurt Summer or come after her and the rest of the family. There are so many theories and thoughts. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and with that, with the body language experts, they can sit there and read body language, but it's not 100%.
No,
It's
no.
not going to be accurate. We're all going to react different. Our emotions are
Yeah.
going to be different. There's no one size fits all with
No.
that.
Yeah.
So because body language may have said one thing, it doesn't automatically
Right.
mean, yes, this person is guilty. And yet at the same time, it could mean that.
I mean, because there's certain things I can do with Megan or say to her, and I can just read what she's thinking off of her body language. I don't need experts. Sometimes you can just look at somebody and automatically tell that they're upset or they're excited about that or whatever. And sometimes they would say, oh, well, she's not, this isn't right. And I would think, oh, really? That's how that came about for you? That's not how it felt to me, but I'm not an expert,
A lot of people were saying how, she's not showing enough emotion.
Yes. Are you kidding?
Maybe that's just how she
Yeah.
shows her emotion. She just stays quiet and shuts down.
And my biggest saying, and I've even told Megan, this is going to be on my tombstone. Everybody is different in any situation forever. Everybody is different. I'm different from her. Obviously, we're all different. So, yeah. Give Candace a little bit of a break, people. That's what I was thinking after so long. Come on now, give her just breathing room for a minute.
Yeah. If she's guilty, it will come out in the
Oh,
end.
yeah.
But if she's not, then to keep calling her out as guilty, it's only going to.
And that probably made it worse. Everybody kept harping on her. And after so long, she's going to break and she's just going to be completely shut down. And then we're all, all these people are automatically going to think, oh, well, obviously she's guilty.
Yeah.
We don't know that. You don't know that. So, yeah.
Then the boys were also removed from their property. Before Megan gets into that, when Don pled guilty to violating his parole for the DUI,
Which
he had
was
gotten
that was
here
recently. So this is something new that has happened.
because Don is in jail right now. But right after that, the judge actually issued a gag order when it comes to the boys in their case and them being removed.
Right. Because right after Summer disappeared, the boys were they sent to a different state?
I'm not sure where they actually
Well,
are.
the boys were taken out of the home, immediately. So that kind of just makes you go, what? So yeah, that was kind of a Weren't they taken out with their grandma?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
So-
They went and stayed with the preacher from their church for a little bit while they were right after it happened. The preacher took them out to try and
CPS.
calm them down.
Dan just said CPS. That could be it too, but we don't know. I mean, did we ever hear?
Yeah, CPS did take
So
them,
they did
but
take-
we don't know where they're
Gotcha.
from there. So Megan, if you want to go ahead and jump in on that.
Okay. According to Donald Wells, their dad, the boys were removed from their home for their own safety. In his words, he said, right now, it's not safe at my house. There's too much going on and people are crazier than hell. And right now, it's just not safe at the house. He said it's probably better for them because false theories and speculation about what has happened to Summer drove him to drinking. He said they come at me and said, what was I?
Either
Posing.
Trying to read Denny's handwriting again.
Sorry. Said they had the inside scoop with the TBI, which is Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, and that they know I sold my daughter for drugs and I flipped out. I believed that stuff like an idiot. I believed it and I flipped out. I started drinking and everything else, and that's why they took our kids. Donald gave that statement to podcast host Jennifer Youngblood. He has also spoken about people showing up on the property in the middle of the night, as well as threats made to the family, which is, it's got to stop.
That, again, that's just their take from it. They're automatically going to, yeah.
And Don and Candace, they still maintain that she was abducted, and investigators are still looking into all possibilities.
And law enforcement had maintained from early on that there was no evidence of an abduction. Obviously, that doesn't rule out an abduction. It just implies that they're not releasing anything they may have found on that. And they maintain that everything is still on the table. Everybody is still a person of interest.
Oh yeah.
Early December, ground crews returned to Beach Creek in an area that was far too overgrown over the summer to search properly. They went back in the summer or in December when it had cleared out and researched it, but they did not turn up anything.
Because I would think that'd be the best time to go back out and search, because obviously in the summer everything's overgrown and whatnot, and then winter it gives you a clear path. I think that'd be the best thing to do.
The boys know what happened this summer.
I guarantee the boys
Yeah.
probably know
Yeah.
exactly what happened to
I
summer.
think so.
And my thought is they were shipped off for that reason. Sorry.
Yeah, it will not surprise me at the end of this to find out that's the case.
Yeah.
And the no evidence of an abduction, I gotta kind of jump in there, and for me personally, I've got to disagree with that, because the dogs they brought in to search actually was on Summer's scent trail from the back door, across the yard, through the woods, down to the road on the other side of the woods where it lost her scent.
So obviously she was either picked up, or there is no other option. Honestly, she was picked up. I mean, why would it stop like that? Something stopped it. Mm-mm.
That was really concerning to me, because the dog, yeah, there's going to be times that they lose a scent, but if they're on a strong trail and the trail just ends.
Now, not to interrupt you, but Megan we were talking about this a few minutes ago. Is there a time frame that dogs have with scent? Can they pick up an older scent by
40
accident, or is it only fresh scents?
48 hours is generally the cutoff.
So-
After 48 hours, it really deteriorates. The Alex Van Dowson case, when the
Right,
scent dogs
right.
come out,
Yep.
it had been like 41 hours and they were still able to track.
Right.
And I know those dogs have tracked past the 48 hours, but 48 hours is generally the cutoff on that.
Because we got to thinking, could they have possibly picked up an older scent from her playing out in the yard or something?
Yeah.
But I mean, that was a good thought, Meg. I mean, really it was.
Yeah.
But
And then, yes, it can't be proven that she didn't go back to the house. And we have, I think each of us has our own theory that we think is most likely.
oh yeah.
And then we've got tons of theories on this.
Okay.
Yes, Catfish Bob sent me some of his certifications today.
Yeah. Oh
and
my God,
that
Bob.
was
Holy
amazing.
crap.
Hot, Bobby.
And Catfish, he's a really good guy. And he's been helping me out on a couple of the cases as well. We've been messaging a lot, almost daily,
Yeah.
and he's been a really good help.
You're a good kid, Bob.
And Dan on here, Dan has been a tremendous help almost from day one.
Oh yeah. Oh
with
my
these
gosh.
cases.
Absolutely.
And it's just been incredible working with
Yeah.
you guys.
But-
So with this,
Do you want to talk about this?
if it comes up, we will.
Okay.
Hey, Joanne, how are you
Hi,
doing?
Joanne.
So out of all of the theories, I do want to mention when law enforcement talk about social media theories, what they're getting at is there's people out there, and not just with this case, but multiple cases, I'm seeing this, that people will get in these groups and they will say, so-and-so is guilty. They done this. I have evidence to prove it. And if you question it, if you ask them if they've got that evidence to law enforcement, they turn on you.
Oh, yeah.
They'll bite
You
your
just
head off.
don't want answers. You don't
Absolutely.
want them found. And then tons of people start contacting law enforcement saying, hey, this person is swearing up and down they have evidence. And it's tying them up, trying to track these people down to see if they know something. And it turns out most of the time they don't. They're looking for the publicity of, we know this, when they don't have anything.
And see, Dan just said, my concern is the grandma leaving right after Summer went missing. And that's very true. Have we ever figured out why? Dan, do you by chance know?
It was
by chance why she left?
It was a medical reason. And they did confirm that she did go out of state for medical reason.
And it just happened to be right after Summer
I
disappearing.
said
Yeah.
that was just too
Hmm.
much of a coincidence.
Summer's grandmother. Yeah. Yeah.
There's,
I don't know Bobby anymore. I just
I don't believe in coincidences, but if I did, there is a lot of coincidences in this case.
oh my goodness.
You know, the biggest one for me is this happened in Tennessee.
And ugh. We've got a lot of cases in Tennessee that we're just kind of
Yeah, we've got another open discussion coming up in the coming days that's
Mhm.
going to cover a lot of Tennessee cases.
and when we start discussing, you'll know why we feel this way.
Yeah, because allegedly one of the investigators from some of the other cases is involved in investigating on this one. So
Yeah.
that one,
It's another one of those law enforcement and not, you just go, really? Come on.
see, I don't believe every single case out there has corruption involved.
No.
But when you get into the 13th district in Tennessee, there's,
And if you're
they
not,
don't hide it.
yeah, if you're not sure what Denny means by 13th district, watch some of our, have we talked about the 13th?
This would be like our Aaron Shane Keys and
Right,
several
Corruptville, very
others.
well, very nice.
Yeah, Dan, they do.
Do you know if they even check tunnels or?
Joanne,
Oh.
I haven't seen it detailed on if they did, but
How
the
much-
4.6
Yeah.
miles around diameter around her
Mhm.
house basically was searched multiple times.
And like they did a search with like a fine tooth comb. They left nothing unturned. And Candace was with Summer up under this that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, they were. But they searched so well, it seemed, with so many people and different teams, probably some from out of state.
Yep.
I mean, they had the TBI involved.
See,
Something would have been found.
Texas Equus Search, if I get this out right, they come in, they've been up multiple times searching
So
for someone.
a team from Texas.
Yeah.
There you go.
And they are one of the better known teams for doing this.
Right.
And huge team, huge organization. They have several recoveries under their belt, just very thorough, doing an outstanding job.
They spent so much time and so much effort. I mean, did they even have air?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Were they looking up in the air as well?
Yeah.
They
I
did
mean, they had
everything.
so many people searching and time put into it. You would think they would have found something, one little clue, and nothing that we know of anyway. But
Yeah, because they had over 100 agencies from several different states participate in
Right.
the searches.
right.
And I believe it's Snake Creek, I think it is, or I just read it, Beach Creek.
And yes, Bobby, they can't. They're both underage still, so they would require a parental permission.
Search and recovery
They
teams
did?
kept getting run off.
Yes,
Oh.
I didn't know that.
they met a lot of resistance.
John, thank
Thank you,
you.
John.
Thank you, John. And not just them, but there's been others that were like couples and stuff showing up to
Right.
do searches, and
Probably complete
they were run
strangers.
off.
Yeah.
And they were even getting run off of public property.
Why?
They were told
I mean-
they're hindering the investigation.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Yes.
But if
Hi, Tamara.
if you're out there searching, if it's private property and you've got permission, or it's public property and you're searching, but
Yeah.
you're not going to damage anything, you're not going to destroy
Right.
evidence,
Right.
I would think you would want all the help you can get.
Right. Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, there's some areas that we're going to be searching later on, that some of the threats that have come in is you're going to be run off. They can try, but we're not there for them. We're there for the family. We're there for the missing person.
Right.
As long as we're following the law, then the rest don't matter.
What?
Calling the goat.
Oh.
And so, kind of, what are some of your thoughts on this case? I know Dan said that he made me a location of interest to be
Yes.
searched.
I definitely want to know what you guys think about this.
We'll
Definitely.
look at that right now. And I do plan on going to Tennessee to search for several cases down there, and Summer is one of those we will be searching as well.
Dan just said the racetrack out there got upset with people searching an area that one of Summer's toys was found. Oh my goodness.
I write that down.
Wow. That
It-
just kind of,
And Dan, thank you for that. We will be looking into that and adding that on our list
Yep,
on the Summers case.
absolutely.
But yeah, and some of this was law enforcement running them off. Some of it was locals.
And yeah, I understand. They have a job to do and they can't, they got to have it confined. Tennessee properties, in order to search them, have a county permit first.
permit?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of states that require that as well, to have the permit to, it's basically like a special event permit.
Mm-hmm.
And some areas you got to pay for that. Some of it you don't.
Yeah.
Typically it's about $50 if you have to pay for it. It could go
That
up to
is odd.
$250.
That is really odd.
You guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think, we do.
so.
But yeah, what is your guys' thoughts on all this? I think Meg, what do you think? Without watching what you say here.
Give me a minute. I got to figure out how to word this. Let's see. I think that mom knows more than she does, like we've said,
Mm-hmm.
but she's too afraid to come forward, which for whatever reason, okay. But that's your child. You need to, your child, if you're so worried about her being gone, you need to do everything you can to try and find her. Don't withhold information. Don't just.
And see,
I don't know. I just it.
my thoughts are right there with you.
Yeah.
I agree that from what we've seen, the information we've gotten, it looks like mom is involved.
Yeah.
She knows, but they've taken Summer as kind of a, until you fix whatever you've done or pay,
Yeah.
we're keeping her as
Because, like I said, the only time she showed emotion was because of that cornbread mafia.
yeah.
How are the two things related? Because you wouldn't get upset like that if something
Because
about that.
When they
Or it
mentioned, when those two people mentioned,
For the dogs to pick up her scent. Will be found within 5.
And hope I get your name right,
Tawny.
but Tawny,
That's a pretty name.
that is still a real possibility that she has wandered
Right.
off.
Right.
I've had people contact me and say, a little kid ain't going to wander off like that,
But that's
but they do.
look
Yeah.
look where she lived. It was all woods. I don't get how they can reach for drugs and alcohol. Me, if it was my Brad, I'd keep be able to. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But some people, that's how they get through their day. I mean, like I've said before, everybody's different.
Okay, I don't think they need to. I do think they need to go out further, or Candace knows.
Oh, I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Candace knows, and she's got to keep her mouth shut. Period. But it's been long enough. I mean, my God.
Yeah.
You see, in that theory, I'm not quite there with them on that theory just yet. Part of me thinks she knows, but part of me still thinks that maybe she wandered off, or could she have been abducted?
Because didn't you tell me earlier that she was only allowed to go a certain amount of space away from the house or the grounds?
It wasn't so much that she was just, it wasn't uncommon for her to be out back, but she never really
There.
went off of their
And
property.
we got to talking, what if she found like a little rabbit or something and went to go chase it or something and just took off, and maybe took off, went to chase it, turned around and realized she couldn't remember where she was and completely got lost. But didn't the neighbors hear at one point a blood curdling scream?
There was a neighbor who
Yeah.
reported that, and then shortly after, seen the Wells family looking for Summer. I've also kind of got a theory of what if something happened in the house, and this is straight up
Yes,
theory,
strictly theory.
no evidence, just straight theory. But what if, her and her brothers got in an argument or something? And I know my kids fight like cats and dogs.
Yeah.
And what if something like that happened and she was accidentally knocked down the stairs or something, and then it was covered up for some reason to protect the boys, protect
'Cause
Candace?
When you said that, I thought that's why the boys were sent away immediately, to keep them from, because what's to say they did something and, oh crap, now we got to get them out of here. I thought that too, and Denny brought that up earlier. I thought that's perfect. But here's what I don't like. But a dog picked up her scent and it led to the road. That's what kind of bothers me about it, though. What?
There's just so many
Yeah.
theories and possibilities on this that
The thing about like the theory that you had about what happened if the boys did it. Yeah, I kind of thought that too. But at the same time, knowing my children, kids have a hard time keeping a secret. So if that were have been the case, I think one of those boys would have told somebody.
it just doesn't make sense. How could someone get her out of her room with the door locked?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been troubling me as well, Dan.
Now, was it a screen door or big door? Did
Just
they,
a regular door.
so somebody could have had a key?
Seen something else that was brought out
Ugh.
in the Dr. Phil episode. Was it Dr. Phil when they talked about the door opening and shutting?
Okay, Tawny just said the neighbor gave an interview, and in it, he said all 4 kids, including Summer, was seen playing by the creek and in the street. Yes, kids do wonder, at least mine do. Oh,
Yeah.
And say if we didn't keep a close eye on our kids outside,
Oh,
they would be all over the
Yeah.
neighborhood.
They'd be in the next town over.
and the door may have been unlocked. Absolutely.
I think Candace said it was kept locked though. wasn't
Yeah,
it?
because it was downstairs in
Yeah.
kind of like the basement area where they all stayed. So I think that door was kept locked.
I think so.
Cause wasn't it Chris
Can't think of his
I
name.
can't think of his last name. Chris was one of the guys who's with Mike on Profiling Evil. He actually got to take a camera into their house and film as he interviewed. And he actually asked, that door is downstairs in the basement. Can you hear that door if it opens or shuts? And was told, yes, you can hear it. It's very loud. They actually put that to the test and opened the door, and they could not hear it from upstairs.
Right. They even had that on Dr. Phil. They took a camera. Dr. Phil's people took a camera inside her home, and they looked.
They didn't
No.
let Dr. Phil.
Oh, they
This
didn't?
was-
They were
Was
showing
that the video
Chris's
then?
Yeah.
video.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. But I remember hearing that.
McDonough,
Yeah,
that's
thank
what
you,
it-
Dan.
Yeah. But I remember hearing that. Oh, the door, you can hear it. Absolutely. They showed opening that door. I heard nothing. I heard nothing.
Dawn said the boys would always leave it unlocked. Oh,
See,
Great.
and that makes sense because our kids do not lock doors.
Yeah, they don't even shut them. So.
Chrissy, I like the way you spell your name. It doesn't
It's
matter.
all right. You said it.
Yeah, we got it, Dan.
It's McDonough.
Almost called you Dawn.
Because
McDonough.
Chris, I really love watching Chris. That guy is, you learn so much from him every time the guy opens his mouth, basically.
You're
I
welcome.
got a lot of respect for that guy.
So that was Profiling Evil? I thought that was
Mike King is the
I
main
thought that
guy
was
on Profiling
Dr.
Evil.
Phil.
Oh,
Because
no.
they
No,
showed,
They
didn't
wouldn't
they,
let Dr.
did-
Phil's people in the house.
but didn't they show a video clip on
It
Dr.
was-
Phil?
it
So
was-
it was his. Okay. Okay.
She'll get it here in a minute.
Oh, I remember because she didn't like the way else looked and she didn't want Dr. I. Yeah, I remember. Anyway, yes, I'll get it here in a minute. But
See, I'm going to have to go back through and watch the Dr. Phil episodes again.
yeah,
And if you've seen it, they're worth watching again. Something else might jump out.
oh yeah. Please, if you haven't
The
watched
interview
it, yes,
room, there you go. That's
Yes.
Chris's channel
Please.
and everything.
look it up on YouTube. The Dr. Phil interview with for Summer Wells. It's one of those you just can't look away. Isn't involved. Then Candace wasn't watching her kids very well. She did say 2 minutes. Oh,
And Joanne, that 2 minutes that she gave, original story was she was planting flowers with her mom.
yeah.
Then the story has changed to where she took Summer into the house. Then she goes back over there to help her mom put her knee brace back on and get that straightened out, and then get back
Better?
over. And Dr. Phil's guys who was there at the property said there is no way she done all of that in 2 minutes. It was
No, there's no way.
a good amount of
There's
time.
no way. There's no way. I could see for a minute.
You want
Just
that?
saying. Thank you, Bobby.
And Chrissy says no way it was 2 minutes.
No. There's 2 minutes.
It takes me 2 minutes just to try and stand up after planting flowers. So
Right.
You should
Yeah.
know as many flowers as you plant out there.
yes, I do. I plant a lot of flowers.
But yeah.
But I laugh at that too.
Yeah,
man.
right.
Yeah. 'Cause we do plan on getting down to Tennessee this year, and we've got Joshua Bohan and Caitlin Ledbetter and a couple others we're going to be searching on, but we're also going to be doing searches for Summer Wells while we're down there.
And I want to go, but at the same time, it's kind of an eerie feeling to be in that area knowing that little girl was there. Just look with all the rest of our cases when we go out and look and we go to places that they have been in or were spotted in or thought to be, it gives you a sense of, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But that's part of it. Ugh.
27.
It was-
I think it's like 22 here.
Yeah. I don't have my phone. Piece of crap anyway. I just have the thing that pops up. It's already on my phone. You guys are old. Come on now, hurry up.
I'm
It's
not that
31.
fancy.
It's 31.
31, Bobby. So,
It's supposed to be 60 tomorrow.
yeah.
Let's see you go back out to the lake now, Bobby. I had to say that Catfish messaged me this morning and he was going out to the lake and it was cold here, so we couldn't go to the water.
Yes, kids definitely make it difficult.
Yes.
Yeah. And I still think if the boys knew what happened, they would have said something, which with the judge issuing the gag order now on their case, at this point, who's to say they haven't said something?
Right. Because why else would they have it?
And Dan, I agree. I mean, they let the other team in with the cameras,
hush, Joanne.
filming everything. Why wouldn't they let Dr. Phil?
But I remember Candace saying I don't know if it was on the Dr. Phil episode or if it was something else, she didn't like the way her home looked and she didn't want Dr. Phil's people coming in.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
I'm thinking back. They did let Dr. Phil's people
See?
in, but they wouldn't let
They
them
wouldn't
go
let them.
downstairs.
That's
Yeah,
right.
they didn't let them go
That's-
I had to
downstairs.
think
That's
for a
what I
minute.
thought.
I had to think for a minute. They would only let him in certain part
See?
of the house.
Because
I remember.
It
See, I
was
knew I
Dr.
remembered.
Phil's guys that tested the theory with the door then.
Yeah.
Because I remember that was the Dr. Phil theory. I remember that. See, I told you.
So maybe I'll get it here in a minute.
I don't know.
I definitely want to go back. I haven't seen
I
those
still-
episodes in a while, so
I
I
still
want to
got
go
them
back
saved
in
on
and
the
watch
TV.
them. And Catfish is going to be looking for a 60 houseboat
Foot.
up there, 60 foot. Wow.
Goodness. So they wouldn't let Dr. Phil's cameras in only for a certain amount of area.
They were
but the other
upstairs.
ones,
They
they
wouldn't
had
let
no
him go.
problem.
They wouldn't let him go upstairs. They let him go downstairs. She didn't want her house shown. I don't know.
But they did the other people that
I
way.
guess.
The boys were removed by child services. I think they might have said something, and TBI is making a case. Cold services services were due the day after she went missing. Too suspicious. Oh,
And there's a very good chance they might have
Yeah.
said something because kids are not going to keep
how old?
quiet.
How old are the boys?
I think the oldest one's maybe 11 or 12.
So they're not teenagers.
No.
Okay, because couldn't remember if they were older or if they were younger, and I
No,
thought,
they're like preteens, I think.
it's not in there. If that's what you're looking
No, just make sure we didn't miss nothing.
for, we have it.
They're like 13,
Oh, there we
11,
go.
and 9.
Yeah, I knew they're preteens.
Yeah. She had 4 kids?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I thought it was just her and 2 other brothers.
3 brothers.
3 brothers.
With my 2 kids, I could see where 4 kids would make you want to drink.
I have a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old, and
If the parents are involved with the parents
separated. They may turn on each
turn
other.
on each
That's
other.
a good theory too. Absolutely.
Because Don's going to be in jail for, I
God
believe
knows
it
how
was
long.
at least 6 months if
Yeah.
he completes the program in there that he may get probation.
Same here. CPS supposed to come out there for their kid to visit, then summer was gone. She has 2 older and 1 that was adopted like when she was 18. Oh. Goodness.
I got a lot of kids.
Yeah.
That's a lot. For me, that's a lot. There's nothing wrong with that.
No,
many kids.
no. I just 2 was done. No more.
In Summer, there's a lot of speculations that Summer had been neglected and abused. And That theory is based off of photographs that's been shared that she's
Yes.
dirty. I can't
No.
judge that off of those photographs because there is
We've
so
noticed, Christy. Thank you, though. Your information is amazing right now, though.
there is so many pictures I could show me,
Oh
my
my
brother and
gosh,
sister
yes.
when we were
I'm
little.
sure we've got them too.
Yeah.
When you're a little kid, you're gonna get dirty if you go outside and play. That's
Kids,
the law of nature.
kids love dirt. I don't
Yes.
care how spoiled they are. What they love dirt.
Right. They're gonna be dirty. Their clothes aren't gonna match. It is what it is. Kids are gonna be kids.
And like, she's naturally skinny. Okay, a lot of kids have very fast immune system.
And
Not immune system. What am I thinking?
what's to
Metabolism.
say on Dan? What if they just weren't hoarders? That's just how they lived.
Yeah, Dan
Maybe they
says
didn't
he
have a
feels
lot of
it's
money.
based on living conditions.
That right, but at the same time, that's just how they lived. I mean, I don't know. She was just a country girl princess. Yes.
Beautiful little girl.
Oh my gosh, she's adorable. Whoa. I hear late. I hate the abuse claims on the domestic violence and addiction to the parents and the fact they have a family court case of neglect of the boys. Ooh,
and
wow.
that is
Wow.
And that is where a rightful suspicion of neglect and abuse would come in, is with what Arabian Horses Forever just stated on here.
Yeah.
That is actual evidence of it.
Yeah.
A photograph of a dirty kid doesn't cover it.
Right.
But that right there, that's evidence that points to that.
And Bobby said Candace could be telling the truth about selling Summer. When you're badly on drugs, anything is possible. True.
Yeah.
Joanne says she was tiny like that.
See.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Chrissy-
can't base that.
Christy says, I have 4 kids and 4 grandkids. Always were dirty. Yes. Dan, someone gave them enough money to fix the house. Oh,
Cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
and then Arabian Horses Forever. Yes, dirty kids play outside. Pretty normal. Exactly.
I'll still go outside and play in the
Tell me
dirt.
about
Say,
it.
I always play in the dirt.
I had 2 grown kids and 13 grandkids.
Oh.
Wow.
That's
You
a
are
lot.
one busy man, 13 grandkids.
That's a lot.
Well, he's not a busy
And you
man,
love
but-
them all. Oh, that's a lot.
But anyway, yeah, the interview with Dr. Phil, when I first saw it, like I've said, I was pissed. Sorry, but I was pissed because I thought, Candace, how can you be doing this? Why are you hiding her? Strict theory. I thought, you know what? Candace knows it's something to do with drugs and they're holding her until they pay off a debt or something. But now it's been almost a year. Enough. Chrissy says, I think she lost track of Summer. The interview with H, they all said she thought they lost the kids before because she was high and drinking. And Deborah asked, is Don Wells Summer's biological father? And Josh just said, yeah, it's bullshit. Bull crap. Excuse me. Sorry.
I mean, as far as we know, he's her biological father.
Yeah.
Because didn't at one point Candace say she did abuse drugs a while back, or
Yeah.
Dawn did, or something at some point?
They both admitted to have used drugs before.
Right.
And
So that, unfortunately, that's going to follow them now.
That thing with being the biological father, wasn't that one of the main fights that Dawn and Candace got into because he thought she was cheating on him?
yeah, he had come home and there was another guy in the house and he started accusing that
Dawn is
They were
Summer's dad. Bobby just
having
said.
an affair.
Sorry, that was a little off topic.
No,
Sorry.
it's part of it.
So that was when
That was when she got the restraining
she got the
order.
restraining
Yeah.
order on him and then eventually dropped it.
That's
Yes.
another thing, Dan. Oh my
Yes.
goodness, yes. Dan just said, what else does not make sense is the time it took for Candace to call the police. And abusive to each other online in front of all of us.
Yeah, and they had to.
They have a very volatile relationship.
Right, right.
And going back to Dan, Candace allegedly called Don first
Yes.
to tell him Summer's missing, we can't find her. And Don told her to call 911. So she called, and Don gathered his tools and was rushing home. He calls 911 as well to
Yeah.
ensure that they knew what was
Right.
going on.
And in some circumstances, sometimes you might panic a little bit and think the first person you call is your other half without thinking about it.
I do that.
I mean, when something happens with the kids or something, the first person I'm going to go to would be whatever, but still, she should have called the police. Yes, absolutely. She should have called them right away, but yeah. Joanne, oh, Summer Moon, Utah Wells. Oh my goodness.
What's her name?
And then
Her hide,
Bobby.
or-
come off her high. Yeah. Well,
And at this
Mm-mm.
point, all we can do is hope for the best and do
Right.
everything we can to help find her.
right. Yeah.
I just hate the fact that, I mean, they're still talking about it, but it's like radio silence. You don't hear nothing about it no more.
Well, we had Summer Wells that was filling up all the news channels.
And then that's when
everything.
Gabby Petito
And
came
Gabby
into.
Petito come in.
That's when she came into play. So
And in case any of you have not got it, I'm going to jump on that one real quick.
Sure.
Brian Laundry. Brian Laundry, they finally released his full autopsy results, and we will be going over that in an upcoming episode.
And Josh just said, do you all think that Summer is still alive? I pray that she is every day, but we've heard rumors, right, that she's possibly not now. We're not going to go into detail with that. We don't have very much information, and we're just going to leave it at that. But we have heard both sides now.
Yeah,
So,
I think there is a small chance that she is alive, but I think at this point there's a larger chance that she's
and see,
not.
like right now, I don't even want to hear it. I don't even want to hear that. But you have to. That's always got to be in your mind in cases like this. Because a lot of people, ask us, how do you do it with little kids? How can you know that this child is, missing, and then they find they're deceased and whatnot? How do you have to be really strong to do this. Unfortunately, it's going to be bad sometimes.
We just worked a case that has a 2-day-old missing baby that's believed
Right.
to be deceased.
Right. Yeah, exactly, Josh. There are tons of rumors going on right now. So I would be so happy to see her still alive, but sadly, satisfactory, very likely. Exactly.
Yeah, I
Chrissy,
agree,
that's the
Chrissy.
problem.
And that's another case that will not be closed till they find the bullet that Brian shot himself with to match with the gun. But as Gabby, her case is closed. Yes.
Thank you, Tanya. We appreciate that, hun. And Chrissy as well. Thank you. But yeah, when we start talking, not to get off topic, but the Brian Laundry, wait till you hear this, guys. This is going to be amazing. Amazing story.
And if you guys come up with any idea of where you think would be a good place to look for Summer, please get that out to us. We will be going out to search for her later this year, and we would love to add that to our list to get that area searched for you.
You have to be strong. I lost my best friend as a young teenager to drowning in the Missouri River. Oh, they found him a week later out by. Oh my goodness. So sorry. Goodness. Oh, to be the one to come upon that. Oh, well, we lost a cousin that way. Our cousin
Missouri River.
was trying to help someone who had fallen in during a stormy night, and she surfaced and came up, but he never did. And they found him shortly after. And the only way they could tell it was him was by his tattoos. So, hi, Craig.
Craig.
In the Missouri River, there
It's
are
Missouri River does not play.
no.
It does not play.
There's several areas on the Missouri that we will be sonaring later this year as
Yeah.
well. Once we get a bigger boat, that's going to be a lot more safer
Yeah.
on the river.
Yeah, because there's no way I think we're gonna get that little
No.
thing out there.
And Dan, I agree with you on that 100% as well.
Thank you, Josh. Well, Denny will definitely be looking into those.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Bobby wants to know what your next case is.
Bobby, this coming weekend, we should be able to get out in Atchison to do the sonar search for Billy and Mary Lou Black. And then we have multiple locations that we're going to be searching for Randy Leach, Crystal Kipper, and Justin Seawick.
And Arabian for Horses Forever. You grew up on the river. We grew up in Leavenworth, which we could probably walk to the Missouri Bridge from where we are. The Missouri River, yeah. So we know how it feels, hon.
Yeah, I've done a lot of fishing on the Missouri River.
Yeah.
Justice for the missing, absolutely.
Do you guys have any other questions or comments you want to talk about Little Summer about? I mean, anything, guys?
And while waiting on that, I do want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Kansas Missing and Unsolved. If you haven't checked them out on Facebook, please do. These guys do incredible work.
She says love it and hate it at the same time. I agree.
100%.
Hate it when it floods every year, which amazes me. I mean, it floods like you would not believe. Whew.
And then right now, you go over here, you could probably, well, except for the current, if it didn't have the current, you could probably walk across.
Walk right over it, yeah. Right. Dan, what's the Mega Million numbers? Sorry to get off topic, but hey, y'all heard anything about Karina? There you go.
I plan on going to Indiana this year as well. We do have
Good night,
a
Chrissy.
location.
Thanks for joining us. Then.
We do have the location we feel really strong about. A lot of evidence points to this particular body of water. And we do plan on being there this year to search for her and hopefully be able to bring her back.
That was a good one. Absolutely. Down to 5 feet deep. That's it. Goodness.
See, in one of the areas we need to sonar right now is showing 5 foot deep.
I think that'd be the perfect time. Well, Dennis, you have done a lot for people in searching for their lost loved ones. Don't ever stop. Great work. Thank you, Bobby. Good night, Joanne.
And Bobby, we will not stop. We will not give up.
Oh, God, no.
And it's going to be weird explaining this, but at this point, it's almost like this is a calling. Like this is something we're meant to do, meant to be doing.
Right.
And I want to do more. And Dan, while we are in Indiana, we will be looking for a weapon as well as other evidence as well.
Thanks, Josh. Yeah, that's another case that we are definitely not going to quit on is the Alex Van Dalsen case. That's pretty close to my heart. So, yeah.
And Dan, I don't know if his mother has gotten a hold of you. She reached out to me just the other day, and I want to talk to you and go over a couple other things on that as well.
Jennifer?
Yeah.
Okay.
I may be old, but my job's still going strong as well. Bobby, every day I get a day older, and I'm thankful to be a day older, but I hate being a day older. If you are ever up north, border
South
on the
Dakota,
river,
Nebraska.
please do
Oh,
a
wow.
video.
Your family can help.
Awesome.
I'll have
Thank
votes.
you.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Saying we will be in Nebraska this year and possibly Iowa this year doing some searches. One of the searches in Nebraska will be on the river. And
Dan said she sent you
Okay,
sent me a
Dan.
location. Nice.
yeah,
Okay.
I wanted to make sure you was aware of that and what was going on with that. Bobby's 68, Phil's
Oh,
45.
you're still a youngin'.
I'm 42 and Phil's 68. How about that?
I'm getting up there, okay? Getting up there too.
I will stay tuned. We are willing to help.
Oh, thank you,
Thank
hon. We
you.
appreciate that very much.
See, and knowing in Nebraska, we've got Linda Dillard, we got Chance Engelbert, we've got Christopher Lupin. All three of those, we had areas narrowed down that we're going to be searching. Two of them's going to be a lot of sonar searching. Linda's, I am hoping that Justice Takes Flight will be able to meet us there and use their K9 team. That one is a ground search.
Oh, yeah.
That will make that go a lot quicker.
I'm 44, feel like 68.
You know, at work in my apartment, I'm the old.
Goodness. I never thought I'd be this age.
Where's my coffee? I'll drink to y'all.
A lot of cases, so sad, but I so appreciate what you do. Invaluable. Thank you again. We really appreciate that. Absolutely.
See, right now we've got
Gosh, yeah. Offhand,
we've got around 100 cases that's come in that we've been working on over the months, and we have
mind
a
you,
few
months.
more that recently come in.
Alabama.
Oh,
Y'all ever
Alabama.
going to be close to
we have any
Alabama?
down
Just
there?
asking. I do have 2 cases out of Alabama, and once I've got more on those, Josh, I will get a hold of you, and I'd like to see if they're around the area that you're at. And at very least, you're going to know that area very
Yeah.
well and could maybe point us in the right direction on that.
Yeah. The amount of cases nationwide is unbelievable.
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
absolutely.
I mean,
Daily. They're almost
Yeah.
daily. So, absolutely.
there are, and I don't even remember the numbers now.
No,
Yeah.
They change every
I'm
day.
gonna have to
Like I
go
said,
back
it's a
in
daily
and
thing.
sorry, Ted.
get those. So, guys, if you have any more theories, information, locations on Summer's case or on any of the other cases we're working on, please don't hesitate to reach out. I've always got my contact information in the video descriptions. That's my email and personal cell phone number.
Oh, he's been working a lot himself. Awesome.
That is awesome. And that's what it's going to take on a lot of these cases
Right.
is people just putting in the time,
Yeah.
putting in the work, getting out there
That's
and
why
finding answers.
Right. That's why you guys are so important to us and to just things like this, because without you, we wouldn't know a lot of things ourselves. So,
And Josh, Virginia, that's the case that was she was just found recent, isn't it? Found the vehicle in the woods and her body outside of the vehicle, not that far away. And we don't want Summer's case to go cold.
Absolutely.
Absolutely not.
now was that Virginia? Was she dead? They find her
Yeah,
deceased?
she's deceased.
Oh, goodness. We need more to join and reach out in those. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I've got to credit Adventures with Purpose on this.
Oh, yeah.
Search and recovery has been around since the beginning of time,
Right.
basically. But Adventures with Purpose are the ones who not only put a spotlight on it, but they have started the movement, and it has just continued to grow.
Oh yeah.
And there's been a lot
do.
of recoveries.
They do an
based off of
amazing
that.
job. They've had so many recoveries, and it's just amazing. They've opened the door for a lot of teams. So yeah.
And yes, Virginia, she's the one just recently.
Yeah.
In fact, Jared announced that in weeks or so they're going to air their video from their search out there looking for Virginia. But in Virginia, that's not the answer anybody wants.
No.
But at the end of the day, her family now has answers.
Josh said, Adventures with Purpose is what got me started doing this, but I just like y'all. Thank you.
Saying Adventures with Purpose was my first biggest influence in getting involved. And then Profiling Evil has been a huge help.
Oh, yeah. And you guys.
You guys have been,
Absolutely.
once we got started and you guys started jumping on board, you guys are what keeps us going.
Okay.
And Chaos Divers is a huge one for.
Mhm.
There's so many of them. I
Yeah.
can just.
We can't remember everybody, but we just want to say thank you to everybody. Randy Leach case is what got me there. See,
Yeah.
it wasn't, that was our first.
See?
That
Yeah.
will,
It was Adventures with Purpose, and it was their Randy Leach video.
yeah, you saw
that-
something on YouTube, I think, and that's
Yeah.
when it took off. So,
And I had done some search and recovery years ago and had no thought whatsoever of doing that again, especially up here, until I saw that video.
Yeah.
And to hear Harold and Alberta hear their story, we got involved from there.
Josh said she shouldn't have been in the location that she was found in. Prayers to the Collier family. Bobby says, I'm thinking that Jeremy and
Britain.
Britain have found like 11 cars in the Missouri River. Geez,
Yeah.
not sure what river.
And Jeremy is with Fishing with Nug, and Britain is with Depths of History.
Yeah.
If you haven't checked their channels out
Oh,
on
yeah.
YouTube, incredible guys doing incredible things, and big influence on us. Granted, every team that's out there is going to do things different. What works for us might not work for
Oh, yeah.
them. What works
Yeah.
for them might not work for us,
Right.
but everybody has the same goal.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
out there and
Yeah.
they're trying to find answers. They're finding answers. And just a huge thank you to everybody who gets involved in these cases.
Adam Brown Adventures. Oh, do you know that one?
I don't know that one.
Thanks, Bobby.
I'll have to check them out, Bobby. And then Dennis and I can never think of her name.
Are you talking the ones we were talking about?
Yeah. They're like the OGs of search and
Yeah.
recovery, I believe. Those guys are incredible.
Thank you, hon. We appreciate it.
So with that, guys, if you have anything else that comes up, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Again, our contact information down here. You can message us off of our Facebook page,
Yep.
Muddy Water Search and Recovery. Adam is normal. Okay, now I know who you're talking about there. Adam's on a lot of Britain's episodes, and he's another really good guy. So we're going to go ahead and
Oh,
well,
Well,
guys,
guys.
got to go. Y'all have a good night and keep up the good work. And I will email you later, Dennis. And it was good being able to talk with you. Same as you, Josh, and reach out anytime.
good night, Josh. Thanks.
We need to push our government to invest in search and recovery.
Didn't I say that
Yes.
the other night? There has got to be something bigger in this government that needs, yeah. Absolutely. And you're reading my mind, Dan.
See, we can afford every pet
Yes.
project of every politician that's out there, but we can't afford to.
But that's a different subject. We'll talk about that next
Yeah.
time. But yeah.
Team Waters has been doing this even longer and helped train Jared and the others
Oh.
on sonar.
Oh,
Team
cool.
Waters is incredible as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely love them.
But yeah, I'd be signing a petition. I'd be putting money in. I don't care what it is. We need something better in the government that can help with this because it's people like us that get the job done.
See, in Team Waters, I would like to try to get in contact with them later on to see if maybe we can try to learn more
Good
from
night, Damien.
them. You have a good night, Damien. Just because they are so good at what they do.
Craig said good night.
Oh, good night, Craig.
But we're going to go ahead and jump off here, but feel free to reach out at any time. And with that, anything else, ladies?
Just keep Summer in your thoughts and prayers, guys. We appreciate it. We love you guys. Thank you so much.
Y'all have a good night. And Catfish, that would be very much appreciated.
Good night, guys.
Y'all take care.